Hey, what's going on? I had some realizations this morning. So there's this concept that the masculine is more assertive, right? That's what they do. They attract without trying, and their field of matter is heavier in the sense that it takes no effort to draw women in, such that even though women are attracting men, the woman that ends up being with that man is usually the man that pulls her in after they approach her. But it's mainly on the man to attract a woman through his own mass. That's what people are saying. But I want to respond to that and say, if you are so preoccupied with being some kind of status symbol, you are then giving in to this nature, this natural way of being, where the dominant force, the one that bosses people around, that's what gets respect. That's like your ego. So you're supplying ego energy. So even though you'll never attract a female as a male, because you choose not to do that, it's not worth it. So on the downside, if you don't try to attract a female via building up your status, you'll never get a girl. Right? It makes sense. You'll never get a girl because of that. But on a subconscious level, you don't actually have to try to get a girl, because everything that happens is never really your doing to begin with. So I like to view it like this. If you're a man who is looking for a woman and can't get her, I mean, the reasons are usually obvious, and no one really wants to admit that. But let's not get into the obvious reasons. If you're a man who can't get a woman, you are above society if you stop caring about that facet. If you care, then you are a slave and you're dominated by the society's system, or even nature's system, of how to think about things, how to do things. So this doesn't mean that you won't get sad, right? Because there's like a societal pull of how you should be, where you should be. You should be in a relationship, you should be that, should be this. There's also the hormones, the emotions, not just FOMO, but the feeling of like you want to connect with someone. So it's not just a girl, it's about anyone. That's why friends are second best. So it's not just about that first thing. So that said, I'm saying it isn't on the person's responsibility to attain a girl because it's outside of his control. The only ones you're saying that it's on you, you gotta pick up girls, those are people that believe you have to fit into the natural course of evolution's requests. You have to fit into the mating selection, when many times you're just fitting into the mating selection of but the girl may attract you, but it's a superficial way of being. Yeah, you will sleep with lots of women if you pinpoint cues that make that stir their hormones, their natural impulses and instincts. But it's superficial. You can train yourself to think in that way, but you're hurting yourself in the long run, because then you're not who you are. You believe you have to fit into a certain code or a certain set of principles in order to attain what you desire. But what's a better outlook is you should stop desiring to fit into what society and even nature is begging you to do. And that'll actually raise the likelihood of nature requesting you. Because if you don't care about whether or not you have a partner, then you're confident. Then, I just saw a tweet from a girl. I was actually just thinking this, who said, being okay with being alone is great power. If a man is a eunuch, if that's how you pronounce it, he has great power. And in the Game of Thrones, no one could ever bribe or seduce or truly impact this one eunuch who was a spy for everyone and just betrayed everyone left and right. Because he wasn't within, there was no predictable principles that he was following. Especially the principle of nature. So if you can train yourself not to get caught up in that system, then you're powerful. And so in the long run, you'll be attracting more people. You just won't attract people right away. And the reason why society believes that someone is powerful, or the man ends up believing that society would believe he's powerful, is because it's built around money. It's built around this idea of you get what I think you're worth, but then then everything is based around preconceived notions about what is valuable, which is very often it's outdated and doesn't apply, and sometimes it has to do with manipulation, right? Like, you don't know where this money came from. You have money that someone's willing to give you, but where did he get it from? He got it from agendas that are very dirty on the top, and the money trickled down to you. It's hard to explain, but there's no real money that doesn't have blood on it, And so every bit of money that you have comes down to someone who had it, and he got it through manipulation, lying, stealing of some kind. So all of your search for money is actually following those principles who originally attained the money. So no one really pays attention to that. What that means is that all of our motivation is corrupt. So by following that way of doing things, you're actually following a corrupt way of doing things, like a corrupt energy that's undertoning all of human existence, human systems. But besides for that facet, there's even the component that money itself is what's driving our minds. It's making us believe someone is worthy even if he's not. And the fact that that's the case, people want to manipulate, people want to pretend that they're something that they're not, so they become something different, all to attain that money, all to attain that perception that they have status, that they're responsible, that they're capable. And it feedbacks a confidence, a pseudo-confidence, that they just became a completely different person, that they forgot that they've been tricking themselves simply because they have money. And that money is reinforcing what they ultimately want. So it's never the money, but because it's such a superficial system, it creates people that are not real. So even though you're sad, even though you're lonely because of systems that are against you, it's important to rise above that, but also to take solace in the fact that it isn't your fault, and you're actually stronger for not falling into that. So when everyone thinks you're crazy but you, they say it's you who are crazy, but that only applies for people who are outside the system, meaning if they're retired and they didn't retire because they had so much money, they retired because they stopped believing work was significant for progress and growth. You have to look for people who understand this principle. If you calm down in life, you step outside the system and you say, okay, I have enough money to live. I'm not going to pursue it any longer. Now, what do I regret? And many of them who are not stuck in that system or mindset of progress, they're going to appreciate someone like that. Eventually, when people develop enough, it becomes those minorities that are considered more valuable than the ones who are just proving themselves via a capitalist system that's already, has a system of manipulation and then marketing and advertising, subliminal type of capturing, and things that have to do with maneuvering your own psyche to get you to do things that you didn't originally want to do, or that you wouldn't want to do if the system wasn't that way. You have to perpetuate a system's way of doing things in order to have it continue forever. So only those who have stepped outside, which is a small minority, are going to understand this, relate to this, and appreciate you. Until then, yeah, you'll have men who are successful in their endeavors to attract women, but they're attracting women who are subservient and a slave to the money system. So when someone calls a woman a whore, it's not an insult per se, it's an insult that she's so caught up in the money system that she thinks that money that she gets from providing sex to clients is worth it. That's what makes her a whore. That's what makes a whore an insult. Is that she's so blind to the truth about money that she's even willing to whore herself. And those who are not whores per se, those who are not prostitutes, they're whoring themselves via the acclamation, the acceptance of this strange world we live in. Strange way of doing things. Of competition that has no real end, but it also has no discernible label that calls itself competition anymore. Oh, it's just business, it's just this, it's just that, it's just marketing. What do you mean? You have to go to college and this and that. All that is a business. College is a business. Everyone will tell you that. Can't say college is not a business anymore when you have tuition that has quadrupled in the last 20, 30 years maybe. So it's a giant marketplace of twisted agendas. And you could argue, oh, well, quality of life has went up. Look at Amazon. You can buy anything from Amazon. I don't think that's a grounded claim. Making it easier to buy things is not correlated to, make it easier for one company. For everyone to buy things from one company is not correlated to capitalism and marketing and the right way of running a society. It's not correlated to that, I don't think. Oh, if you're watching this and you think I'm a socialist or Marxist, I am not. I'm just trying to give you the back reason why classical marketing doesn't make sense. And the ones who say it does are the ones making all the money. So if they weren't making that money and they couldn't live properly, they'd stop saying it. Because really their body and their mind loves making money. And they won't want to admit that. Because you always want to move, the body always wants to move up. The physical person wants to feel like he's getting somewhere. He can't accept being in solitude. He or she can't accept being alone, being stagnant. They want to feel like there's a discrepancy, there's a contrast. I was here and now I'm here. That's crazy. The human is kind of stuck in that position. He or she can't be okay with something that stays the same forever, like a black room or a white room, or just one thing, one image. If there wasn't a change, it gets tired. I'm not saying you should train yourself not to want diversity and nuance and beauty, which involves really nice contrasts between colors and shapes. Rather, I'm just saying if you believe that you can't be happy with less, then you're actually very far away from where you can be. Okay, that's all for now. Have a good day.